Sissal, my first question, which is very important. Have you recovered from your birthday?
If you listen to my voice, you will immediately know it was, oh my God, it was the best party that I have had in years. It was so well planned by myself. But I mean, because I'm not a planned person, but I have also like bought myself from everything. So I didn't have to like stand making food or anything. So everything was like basically there. The only thing I had to do was like make the room pretty, or however you call it. There was a party bus, and then we went to a club where we had a table, and the owner was so nice. He just kept giving us bottles, and yeah, it was amazing. It was wild, and it was fun.
So this was your big 30th birthday, the big 3-0. Then you won Dansk Melody Grand Prix, and now you're going to Eurovision. What a year.
Oh yes, what a year. What a year. It's something else. And someone said like, it's really going good for you, right? It's really going great. I'm like, yeah. He's like, except that you're 30 now. But everything else, I'm like, yeah, that's true. Yes. Yes.
Well, look, you've got an amazing couple of months ahead. Stay right there. We're going to find out all about you, your song Hallucination. This is the official Eurovision Song Contest podcast. So the voice is a little strained at the minute.
Yeah, to say the least. Yes, unfortunately, but it's also because I have caught a cold, and it always like gets on my voice, it's not good.
Better now than in a couple of months' time.
Very true, very true. And I'm like, I'm so afraid of like this happening right before. This is my worst nightmare. But I think like I just have to stay away from everything called like partying, shouting, anything. Like now it's just straight up work.
It's a good job that you've already had the big birthday and the big party, you know, the work can start. If anyone hears an extra special guest in this podcast, it is your daughter, right?
It's my 3-year-old. Yeah, she's yeah. She just came home because the other one ran away from my ex-mother-in-law, and she's running after her now. So she had to come in. So everything is very chaotic in my household.
I hope that you're teaching her all the ways of Eurovision.
Oh yes, of course I am. I mean, my older daughter, she's like, I want to be on that stage, and I'm like, yes, you will be. Believe me.
Look, congratulations. You're representing a whole country, Denmark.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I'm actually representing almost 2 countries. Okay, wait a minute. Can you wait 2 seconds?
Of course.
Because now the other ones are here, so I have to go to the room now, or else it will be way too loud. Okay, 2 seconds.
No, this is good. So Sissal is just doing a bit of childcare. Perfect.
Yes, okay, I'm back.
You are representing a whole country, Denmark. Yeah. How do you feel?
It's kind of crazy. I mean, I feel like I'm actually representing 2 countries because I am from the Faroe Islands. So I was born and raised in the Faroe Islands, and like that's my roots. And a lot of people are very proud of me, like coming from such a small country, and they're like rooting for me. So I feel like I'm actually representing 2 countries, and it hurts in my back from carrying all of this weight. No, I'm kidding. I'm very proud of myself, and I feel very honored.
You live in Copenhagen, but the Faroe Islands, from the pictures I've seen, are stunning.
Oh yes, it is. It is. So it's also like small islands. So you don't have to call your neighbors. You just knock on their door, and it's a very safe country. So you can also like let your children out on the street without being afraid of them getting kidnapped and stuff like that. That just doesn't happen. I am very privileged to have grown up in the Faroe Islands, I would say.
I was going to say that you were going to be the first person from the Faroe Islands, but you're not, because Riley, who represented Denmark a couple of years ago, was also from the Faroe Islands.
He's a good friend of mine, actually. We were in a musical together, Grease musical, and that's where I got to know him. So I have been talking to him a lot, like throughout this process as well.
Wait, if you were in Greece, were you Sandy and was he Danny?
No, actually, I was Rizzo, of course. I feel like I could be no one else. I could never be Sandy. She's way too cute and sweet and like cutesy patootsy for me. It's no way. And he was a dancer because he's an elite gymnast, so he's crazy good at gymnast. Yeah.
I never knew that. But yeah, so you're Rizzo through and through.
Oh yes, in my heart.
So you have the wild child streak, you have the slight air of being a rebel, and you're the coolest one in the play.
I mean, it depends who you ask, because a lot of men are like, oh, she's so annoying. And I'm like, oh, she's so cool. So it really depends on like who you ask. For me, I was like, I want to be Rizzo. And we were actually the one who got Sandy in that musical. She was also like, oh, I want to be Rizzo. So I was 19 when I played Rizzo, actually. So I was pretty young. But yeah, it was amazing.
So when did the pop star fantasy begin?
I have never been like privileged with a musical family, so I haven't like been going to music school, learning instruments as well. So everything that I have learned is like basically from myself, from YouTube, and I sat with a guitar, learned 3 chords, and from there I just like went that way. So I'm one of those who were born with a very good voice, basically, and I have always been singing. So when I was in musical in Greece, the musical, I met like my ex-boyfriend, who's a good friend of mine today, who was like one of these who have grown up in a musical family with a father who was a classic pianist, and he has also like a bachelor in like some musical degree as well, and he's really So like in that way, I started to make my own music and having like a band that I played with, and learning a lot of things like with how you release music as well. So that's basically where it really started, like when I made my own music. So yeah, I was very privileged to get to know some musicians, and that's like how I started, like with to make my own music, and they could like, because I play a little bit of guitar and a little bit of piano, but not like enough for me to just write a whole song out of it. So when I got like a band, they could help me also because they are very, very, very talented as well. And that's also why I started producing like a couple of years ago, because I was like, okay, I have to, if I want my vision to get like through, I have to somehow show them what I'm trying to create. So that's why I started producing like 8 years ago.
And look at you now, you're about to represent Denmark at the Eurovision Song Contest with an absolute banger, Hallucination.
I like it. My biggest wish was like, I want people to be like, oh, I wanna stand up. I can't sit like listen to the song. And that was also like the feeling in the arena. People just like stood up on their feet and they were like clapping. And that was like my biggest like, oh, because I want that feeling of like, I can't sit for this song. I have to stand up. I felt like the energy in the arena, like people were like, oh yes, and they were clapping and shouting before I even started performing. So it is a TV show, right? So when I stand there, there's like the cameras are going on the hosts and just talking to some other musicians. So when I came up on the stage, people were already like shouting and just like standing up, and I was like, oh, I could get used to being a pop star. Oh, it's cool.
When you first heard Hallucination, what did you think?
I co-wrote the song, so I was like in the process of making the song. We wrote the song in a songwriting camp. So when I was at the camp, it was actually for writing for other artists, and selling the song. So I actually had another song in mind of mine, like a ballad that I wanted to, how do you say, like perform at the DMG. But when we wrote the song, I was like, oh my god, this is it has to be mine. And they loved it. Like the co-writers and producers were like, yeah, of course you have to have this song. So yeah, so when we wrote it, we just looked at each other and we were like, this is good. And we were just joking around, haha, vote for me in February. Like it was, and then it happened. Like what?
Wait, so when you actually co-wrote it, this wasn't, you didn't have Eurovision in mind, or did you?
No, like not for that song. Like when I already had like a ballad that I thought like I'm not a ballad kind of gal, but I wrote like a really great ballad that I was like, oh, this could do really great. But I always like, my biggest wish was going in a Eurodance song number. So when we wrote this song, I got an instant feeling of I have to sing the song. And there's a lot of people who think because of my vocals that I should stick to ballads, because I have like a very, I don't know if you say diva, but a very soulful voice. So people are like expecting me to make primarily like ballads, and I'm like, no, I really love EDM and like Eurodance as well. Like I love that scene.
You want to make the goosebumps go, don't you, while everyone's dancing? That's the two
Yes,
things you want to mix.
yes.
Let's talk about the performance for Basel. Are you switching things up? Is things going to change? What's your process?
No, we're staying the same. No, I'm kidding. No, 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 no. Everything is changing. Thank God for that, because I was giving nothing. Like, yeah, my vocals were serving, yes, and like I was beautiful. It was not that, but oh my God, the staging was so boring. It's so empty, and like we were talking about the hands, we were like, oh, it's so cool, and when we watch it, we're like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, why are there just hands touching my face? And we were like, oh, we're so artistic with the wind, like blowing in the face. And now I'm like, just like, oh, get it away from my face. Like, oh my God, it's almost embarrassing. No, it's not embarrassing, but we were like, because also we got a lot of constructive criticism, thankfully. Like, people were so nice, and they're doing it because they're actually like so, they love the song so much, and they're like, oh my God, it deserves a really good staging. Like, please save this girl. Like, she's working overtime. A lot of people are like, she's working overtime. So everything is changing, actually. The only thing left is me and the song, basically. So the outfits are like, that has left, staging gone, and visual as well. Like, everything is new, basically. But we're trying not to overdo it, because I think it's a song that also deserves, like, where my vocals are like focused on, like that's the main focus. But we have to have some elements that represents like this hallucinating feeling. Definitely, like, we have to do something very cool with the visuals as well, but without overdoing it. So it's a balance, definitely.
So basically, everything apart from the song and you has been put into the Copenhagen rubbish tip, and
Yes.
there is a new one coming for Basel.
Yes, and now we're using money, basically. Like, yes, basically.
I was actually hoping that you would keep the wind, because it is the one thing in my pop star fantasy that I am very jealous of, because I clearly have no hair, so I can't feel the full force of the fan, which
I'm not
every
saying
diva.
No, but I'm not saying the wind is not gonna go. There's gonna be wind. If our element is gonna be wind, that's not enough in Eurovision. You have to be blown away on the other side of the stage, like that kind of wind.
This has to be
So
a hurricane. It has to be a tornado.
exactly. So like wind in the hair, like that's not enough. Like we need something more. So it's not completely gone. The wind is not gone, but it's in a different way. Okay, now I'm afraid that people will be like, "Oh, she's gonna be blown away off the stage." That's not gonna happen either. But it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool.
I like that you understand the Eurovision assignment, though, and that you need to do something on stage that is going to make people sit up, listen, not just the song. It's got to look the part as well.
Yeah, but I mean, I've always been a Eurovision fan myself. I watched it since I was a little kid. Also like the junior Eurovision as well, and it's definitely like the Eurovision fandom, or like the whole thing with Eurovision has changed throughout the years. Because one of my favorite songs is Lena with Satellite, and
Mm.
like she doesn't do anything on stage. She's alone in that black dress and red lipstick, and she's just standing there. There's no huge effects, and she owns that stage alone. Like, it's enough. That would never like be enough today, I'm afraid.
Well, everything evolves.
Yeah,
Everything.
exactly. So we as people have to evolve. Like, that's just a natural part of it. And I love it. Like, more is more. I'm no like less is more. No. More is more. And Lena has that kind of thing that's like, it's generic but in an amazing way. It's like, oh, I love it. It's so simple and it's so timeless. Like, yeah.
So was that your earliest? I asked this to everybody. Was that your earliest Eurovision that you remember her winning?
No, oh my God, no. Like, I watched it since I was a little kid. Like, my favorite, like my biggest crush ever was when I was like 8 years old or 7. I don't remember, but it was like a man from, not a man, a boy from Croatia called Dino Jelosic. So he sung like, Disi moja prova ljubav. I loved. He was my biggest crush ever. And then I remember the year after, I watched the grown-ups Eurovision. And I saw Ruslana with Wild Dances, and I was like, oh my God, I was so blown away with that song. Like, it gave me some, like, it felt like a Viking. So I think if I have to like remember like one of the older, like the older people singing, from the older Eurovision. It has to be, yeah, the brothers Olsen, the Danish ones from
Of
Swedish.
course.
Yeah, and I was 5 years old by that time, but I remember
Do
it.
you remember it at
Yeah, I
5 years old?
remember it. Yeah, because I just remember, like, I remember the whole, like, all of Denmark was so proud of them because nobody expected them to win. That's what like, now I can Google, like, nobody expected them to win because they were much older than the other participants, and they just stood there with a guitar. And I just remember my parents as well. They were just shouting in the living room, like, wow, like we watched it every year. But I think, like, after that, it has to be Ruslana, like from the Eurovision, from Eurovision. Like, yeah,
No,
has to
that's
be
what we'll
Ruslana.
call it now, the grown-up Eurovision.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's
I mean,
rename
I'm
it.
grown up. Yeah, I'm a grown up.
And am I right in thinking that you did dance to Hallucination at your birthday? So you danced to your own song?
Oh my God, I danced to it so many times. It was turned on. Like, if main character has a thing, like a picture right now, it was me at that night. I mean, thankfully it was only people that I know, because everyone else would be like, "Who? She's so full of herself." And it wasn't even myself who turned it on. Like, everyone just put it on all the time at the party, in the party bus, and at the club. They also tried, like, "Can you play Hallucination?" And he was having like an Afro beat kind of night, and he was like, "No." We were like, "Oh man," so we tried, but yeah, I
Wait,
danced.
so the only playlist at your birthday was Hallucination, Hallucination,
Yeah,
Hallucination, Hallucination.
exactly. It kept coming on, and I was like, "Again, okay." I was like, "Oh my God, stop!" Okay, let's do it. Like, there was, you don't even have to, like, you don't. Oh my God, I'm too easy, like, in that way. Like, can I take a shot now? Okay, like,
And at the
easy.
end of the night, when the music stopped, just do it a cappella as
Yeah,
well.
exactly. And that's why that's resulted in my voice, like, today, because I've been, oh no, also the cold, of course, but
Sissal, stay right there. We're going to find out more about you. You are listening to the official Eurovision Song Contest podcast. Is it true that you've performed for royalty?
No, oh my God, there has been, like, at the meet and greet, someone was so nice, and he was like, "Oh my God, you're so cool. You sang in a Disney movie, you sang for the king." And I'm like, "Who? What?" I'm like, I mean, I wish, but I don't know. I think, like, someone has spread some information that is not true. I don't know if it's another sizzle or it's because I said something once. I said, like, "Oh, I wish that I'm gonna be singing a Disney character, or that I will sing in front of the king or something." And people, so I don't know if that's where it came from.
Wait, so neither are true. No Disney, no King.
No king, no Disney yet.
Yet.
Important, yeah, yet, but
Okay, so if you were to sing a Disney song, if you were to do a Disney character, who would it be?
I hate to say it. I wish that I would be like one of those Disney princesses, but I would so much be Ursula. I mean,
Yeah.
I am. I mean, can you imagine me anything else? Like, I am just not Ariel at all. I'm just, because I have such a deep voice. I would probably be Ursula.
I think loads of people listening to this right now would totally agree that Ursula is the best character anyway.
Oh no, she's a mean person. She's definitely the one that I would play.
I hope that you do a little cover now of Poor Unfortunate Souls.
Oh, I might be. I might do that. Actually, I should do that.
How excited are you to be doing this on a scale of 1 to a million?
Oh, I'm so excited. I mean, I feel like I'm really enjoying the process, and I just made a group chat today on Instagram for all of the Eurovision class, because I really just want to meet everyone and, like, have so much fun and enjoy this process, because we're all going through the same basically right now. And I am just really trying to not think of it as a competition, but just as an opportunity and, like, an experience for life that I won't be able to experience again.
So you have started the group chat.
Yeah, I did today, actually, because it was someone who said, like, in an interview, because I have had plenty of interviews today, and they were like, "Oh, I heard that there's no class of 25 yet." I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do that right now.
Has anyone responded yet?
Yeah, so, okay, let me see.
Yeah, let's see who's responded.
Who's responded? Oh, there's a lot of people who see. So, let me see. Zoe May, yes. Aborentena and JJ, Mariana, Park, and Justina and Gojo, Red Sebastian, Silverblad, and Kyle, and Ved. Yes,
Amazing.
there's a lot of people. Yes.
So already we've had Switzerland, Austria, Australia, Germany's in there, Ukraine.
Yeah.
Does
Yes.
this make you the queen of the class of 2025?
No, there's so many queens. I just think that I'm very extroverted and maybe like very spontaneous as well. So I get an idea and I just like react to it right away. It's sometimes too fast, but like in this case, I am like I have always been like the facilitator.
The facilitator,
Yeah,
yes.
like in our friend group. So I'm always like also with every like all the birthdays and stuff. Like I'm always the one who's planning stuff. I'm not very scheduled, as said. Like I'm not planning trips because I'm very bad at that. But I'm always like planning the parties and like the get together. I've always been that way.
So your nickname is Group Admin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Oh my, I am the admin basically. I can actually kick someone out. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh my God, the power.
Now the Ursula power gets in me. I'm like, no, I'm kidding.
Also, just going back to the Ursula thing, look at my mic. It's purple. This is very
Oh,
Ursula, you know? So come on. And the
yes.
light here is purple. We're giving a bit of Ursula.
I love it. I love it.
I just don't have the bodice or the hair. Do you know what I mean?
No,
But
I have the
everything
body,
else.
and it's so typical. It's like, of course, a plus size queen is gonna be like playing Ursula. I'm like, yeah, yeah, of course.
But isn't it about the attitude as well, though?
Yes, yes. It's a little like I'm hating men. I'm like, oh, no, I'm kidding. No, I love men. I love men. I love them. But you know, I think I do definitely have like an attitude of like I'm very sweet and I'm very protectful of the people I love and I'm very open-minded also like meeting new people, but like if someone like really pushes me over the edge, I'm like, don't you dare. Like, mm-mm.
So it also sounds like you will be very protective of your fellow artists at
I
Eurovision.
I will I will like I can't swear on this, but I and I swear a lot, but I would be like, yes, don't even like if people try and like put us up against each other, I'm like, don't do that. Like we're all artists, we all do the same. We have a common language here. We're here for the same thing. We're just having fun. Like stop like putting up against each other. No, it's about the community. It's like it's most of the most fun communities that I've ever been in, and also the diversity. It's just like people are so accepting in this community, and that's what I love about it.
I want to talk about your influences. Is it true that you do love Robyn, the Swedish singer?
Oh, I love Robyn. I mean, she's amazing. I have always been like very I've always been listening to like Nordic artists. I love Robyn, and I remember her like one of her first CDs as well when I was younger. I always say I don't know if it's true, but I always said like she invented almost like a sound. Like it's a kind of like this LFO, I don't know, Kickstarter, like the Swedish sound. I call it the Swedish sound. I feel like she almost invented that sound, and that's one of my favorite sounds in the whole world. I also love Dagny. She also like does in that kind of genre as well. Scandipop, Molly Sandén, like a Swedish singer as well. And it's fun because every time someone asks me about who I look up to, it's always female artists. It's not something I do on purpose. It's just I think when you can relate to someone, it's easier for you to look up to them. Not because I can relate to Beyonce being like a rich woman, like huge and famous, but like relate as a woman, like her lyrics. Sometimes I can relate more to that.
I am totally on the page with you. You've just named some of my favourite artists as well. I always think that Dancing on My Own would be a Eurovision winner if it was ever at Eurovision.
It would definitely be. Also, Call Your Girlfriend. Like it would definitely like all of her songs would win. But Dancing on My Own awakens something in me. Like her songs does something to me. If those songs get played in a club, watch me go up on that, like on those tables. Like I will go freaking bananas.
Listen, it's been great to talk to you. We can't wait to see you at the pre-parties and in Basel. All the best. It has been super fun, and I love that we've bonded over Ursula.
Yes, I love that. I love that. I mean, who doesn't love Ursula?
Sissal, have an amazing couple of months and just enjoy every moment.
Thank you so much for having me, and see you in Basel.